Hello again. Super 6 is back this week. £250,000 up for grabs, a guaranteed £5,000 consolation prize, and it is free to play. If you don't think it can be done, just ask Ben Carman. He's a Newcastle United fan who grabbed £250,000 midweek on Super 6. Well done to him. It can be done. 6 correct scores. That's all we want from the following games. 5 from the Premier League this weekend. Burnley against Watford, Crystal Palace against Bournemouth, Huddersfield versus Brighton, Swansea against West Brom, Spurs against Stoke, and 1 from the Championship is Wolves against Sunderland. So how do I think they might turn out? Well, Watford not won at Turf Moor since way back in 2004, but the loss of Robbie Brady for Burnley is a big, big blow. Watford scored plenty of goals, particularly away from home. They scored twice in every away game this season. I see that happening again. Burnley 1, Watford 2. Crystal Palace take on Bournemouth. Palace's last 2 games both ended 0-0. Bournemouth don't concede many, just 6 in the last 9 Premier League games. I see this being low scoring. Palace 1, Bournemouth 1. Huddersfield take on Brighton. Huddersfield, 4 straight Premier League defeats, and the alarm bells are ringing loudly. Brighton looking to bounce back from that humbling, shall we say, against Liverpool. I think they will. They're well organised. It's Huddersfield 0, Brighton 2 for me. Swansea take on West Brom. We all know Swansea's problems. Can't score a goal. Haven't scored in 9 of the last 11. I don't see them scoring this weekend either. I'm going for West Brom to sneak a narrow win by 1-0. Now, the last 3 times that Spurs have met Stoke, they've beaten them by 4-0. Don't quite see that happening again this weekend. Spurs a bit short of goals themselves, but I do see them winning. Spurs to beat Stoke by 2-1. And what about that game in the Championship? High-flying Wolves against Sunderland, who are battling for survival. This could be anything. I think, though, that Chris Coleman will have Sunderland organised defensively to restrict the damage here. Wolves 2, Sunderland 0. Those are my ideas. I'm sure you got your own, probably a great deal better than mine. Do give it a go, though. £250,000 just before Christmas. Guaranteed £5,000 consolation prize. Free to play. skysports.com/Super6 or download the app. And the very best of luck to you. Spend your Saturday morning ruining mine. Predict 6 correct scores for a chance to win my 250 grand. 18 plus. Entries by 3 o'clock Saturday. T's and C's apply.